You don't taste colors with your tongue, you taste them with a prediction machine inside your brain. Imagine taking a bite of a bright yellow lemon candy before it even touches your mouth. For some people, that yellow isn't just something they see. It arrives with an unmistakable burst of sourness. A deep blue might feel cold and minty. A vivid red may carry the rich taste of cherries or cinnamon. It sounds impossible because we were taught that sight, taste, sound, and smell live in separate compartments. But your brain doesn't experience the world that way. Today, we're going to uncover the hidden neurological wiring that allows some people to literally experience colors as flavors, why this isn't a hallucination, and what this extraordinary condition reveals about how every human brain quietly constructs reality. Segment 1. Your brain never experiences the world directly. Most people believe their eyes see, their ears hear, and their tongue tastes. That sounds logical, but biologically, it isn't what happens. Your eyes never experience color. Your tongue never experiences flavor. Your ears never experience music. They simply collect electrical information. Think of your senses as delivery trucks arriving at a massive distribution warehouse. Every second, millions of packages enter through different loading docks. One dock receives light, another receives sound, another receives pressure, temperature, or chemicals dissolved in saliva. None of these packages mean anything yet. The warehouse manager is your brain. Its job is to open every package, compare it with decades of stored memories, combine information arriving from different docks, and construct a single experience that feels seamless. That construction happens so quickly that you mistake it for reality itself. You never experience raw sensory data. You experience your brain's best interpretation of that data. For most people, the warehouse keeps every shipment organized. Vision stays with vision. Taste stays with taste. Sound remains separate from color. But in some brains, the internal filing system follows a different blueprint, and that changes everything. Segment 2. When the filing cabinets connect. Scientists call this phenomenon synesthesia. Rather than treating each sense as an isolated department, certain neural pathways appear to activate together automatically. Instead of remaining separated by invisible walls, neighboring networks communicate in ways they normally don't. Imagine two rooms connected by an unexpected doorway. Every time someone walks into one room, people in the other room immediately respond as well. That's essentially what happens inside a synesthetic brain. A visual stimulus may automatically activate regions associated with taste. A spoken word may trigger the perception of a specific flavor. A musical note may instantly evoke a precise color. The important word is automatically. This isn't imagination. It isn't role-playing. It isn't choosing to make an association. The experience happens before conscious thought has a chance to interfere. For someone with this form of synesthesia, the response feels as natural as recognizing the color of the sky. They aren't translating one sense into another. Their brain presents both experiences at the same moment. Segment 3. Why your brain loves building shortcuts. At first glance, these unusual sensory connections seem like mistakes. But your brain is built to connect information. In fact, your survival depends on it. Imagine hearing rustling leaves deep in a forest. Your brain doesn't wait until it identifies every sound individually. It instantly combines sound, movement, memory, emotion, and expectation into one prediction. Danger. Run. That ability kept our ancestors alive long before they understood biology. The human brain is fundamentally a prediction engine. Every experience you have is built from patterns collected across an entire lifetime. The smell of fresh bread may remind you of childhood. A particular song may instantly transport you back to your first school dance. A perfume may bring back someone's face before you consciously remember their name. Your brain constantly links information that appears together. Most of those links remain invisible because they're useful and expected. Synesthesia simply allows us to glimpse what happens when those links become unusually vivid and remarkably consistent. Instead of connecting memories only in the background, the brain lets different sensory systems participate directly in the same experience. Suddenly, color can acquire flavor, words can acquire texture, music can occupy physical space. The invisible architecture of perception becomes visible. And that raises a far bigger question. If some brains naturally blend the senses together, how much of what you call reality is actually being constructed behind the scenes without you ever noticing? Segment 4. The people who can literally taste words. One of the rarest forms of synesthesia is called lexical gustatory synesthesia. This is where spoken or written words automatically produce specific tastes, not similar tastes, not vague impressions, specific flavors that remain astonishingly consistent for years, sometimes decades. Imagine hearing the name Michael. To one person, it might always taste like dark chocolate. Another name could always produce the flavor of mashed potatoes. A particular city might taste exactly like oranges. These pairings often sound random to everyone else, but they are perfectly stable for the person experiencing them. Researchers have documented individuals who return years later and describe the exact same taste for hundreds of different words with remarkable consistency. That stability is one of the strongest clues that synesthesia is rooted in real neurological processing rather than imagination. Think of your brain like an enormous digital library. Every word has its own file. Normally, opening that file retrieves pronunciation, meaning, grammar, and memories. In lexical gustatory synesthesia, every file also contains an unexpected attachment, a flavor. Every single time the file opens, the attachment opens with it. The person isn't searching for the taste arrives automatically. Segment 5. But can people actually taste colors? This is where things become more complicated. Popular headlines often claim that some people taste colors. The reality is more nuanced. Scientists recognize many different forms of synesthesia, but not every colorful description reflects the same neurological process. Sometimes colors themselves trigger flavor-like sensations. Sometimes words describing colors trigger taste. Sometimes colored letters or numbers become linked with entirely different sensory experiences. The important point isn't whether every person experiences the exact same combination. It's that the boundaries between the senses become unusually flexible. Think about white light entering a prism. To your eyes, the beam appears unified. After passing through the prism, individual colors spread apart. Synesthesia almost performs the opposite transformation. Experiences that most brains keep separated become fused into a richer single event. Instead of color staying inside the visual system alone, information spreads into neighboring networks. The result feels completely natural to the individual experiencing it. What sounds extraordinary to everyone else feels perfectly ordinary to them, because it has always been that way. Segment 6. Your brain predicts before you become aware. Here's something even stranger. Your conscious mind is always the last to know. Every second, your brain is making millions of predictions before awareness catches up. It estimates what you're about to hear, what you're about to see, what a familiar food should taste like, even what someone is likely to say next. This predictive system is incredibly efficient. Without it, everyday life would feel painfully slow. You would need to consciously interpret every color, every sound, and every movement from scratch. Instead, your brain fills in missing information almost instantly. Imagine watching a movie online with a slow internet connection. Rather than waiting for every frame to load, the software predicts what comes next to keep playback smooth. Your brain performs a remarkably similar trick. Most of the time, those predictions match reality so closely that you never notice them. Synesthesia offers a rare window into this hidden predictive machinery. It reminds us that perception isn't simply received, it is actively built. Your experience of reality is less like a camera recording the world, and far more like a live performance your brain produces every waking second. Segment 7. Why these experiences stay the same for decades. If synesthesia were simply imagination, you would expect the associations to change constantly. They usually don't. That's one of the most fascinating discoveries researchers have made. Many people with synesthesia describe the same color, flavor, sound, or texture for years, sometimes across their entire lives. Imagine opening your favorite music app. Every song is permanently connected to one album cover. No matter how many times you press play, the artwork never changes. Your brain develops an expectation so strong that the connection becomes inseparable. Synesthesia appears to work in a surprisingly similar way. Once certain neural pathways become linked, activating one pathway consistently activates the other. Researchers studying lexical gustatory synesthesia have found that people can often reproduce the same taste associations years later with remarkable consistency. That consistency is difficult to explain through memory tricks alone. Instead, it suggests that these unusual sensory pairings become part of the brain's stable wiring. The brain isn't making a new decision every time. It is following an established route, like water flowing through the same riverbed, again and again. Segment 8. Is synesthesia a superpower? This is one of the biggest myths surrounding the condition. Movies and social media often portray synesthesia as a magical gift that automatically creates artistic genius. Reality is more complicated. Many musicians, artists, and writers have described experiences consistent with synesthesia. That has fueled the popular belief that the condition creates extraordinary creativity. But biology doesn't support such a simple conclusion. Synesthesia doesn't inject talent into the brain, it changes how information is experienced. For some people, those extrasensory connections may become useful tools for memory, pattern recognition, or creative expression. For others, they are simply another normal part of everyday life. Think of two photographers using different camera lenses. One captures a wider field of view, the other captures greater magnification. Neither lens automatically creates a better photographer. It simply changes the information available. The same principle applies here. The brain is receiving reality through a different internal filter. What someone builds from that experience depends on countless other factors, including learning, practice, opportunity, and curiosity. So the remarkable part isn't that synesthesia creates genius. The remarkable part is that it reminds us how flexible the human brain can be. Segment 9. Your brain is doing something surprisingly similar. Before dismissing synesthesia as something completely foreign, consider how your own brain behaves every day. Have you ever looked at a food advertisement and almost tasted it? Have you ever smelled nothing at all, yet suddenly remembered the scent of your grandmother's kitchen? Have you ever heard a familiar song and immediately felt an emotion before remembering why? Those experiences aren't synesthesia, but they reveal the same fundamental principle. Your brain rarely processes one sense in complete isolation. Memory, emotion, expectation, attention, and perception constantly interact behind the scenes. Your senses are less like separate instruments and more like members of the same orchestra. Most of the time, each instrument plays its own part. Occasionally, one section becomes louder than the others. In synesthesia, some of those instruments are permanently connected in unusual ways, creating harmonies that most people never hear. The orchestra isn't broken, it's simply following a different musical score. Segment 10. The hidden map inside your mind. Your brain contains billions of connections. Every thought, every memory, every sensation depends on patterns of communication between these networks. Scientists are still studying exactly why some brains develop stronger connections between sensory regions, but one possibility involves differences in how these networks communicate and organize information. Think of your brain like a city. Most cities have roads connecting neighborhoods. Cars travel along predictable routes. The food district sends supplies to restaurants. The airport sends travelers across the city. The residential areas remain separate. But imagine a city where an unexpected bridge connects two neighborhoods. Suddenly, information can travel along a route that most cities don't have. The city still works. The traffic system still functions. It simply has a different layout. Synesthesia may represent something similar, a different arrangement of communication pathways between brain regions involved in perception. The important discovery isn't that one brain is normal and another is abnormal. It is that the human brain has more possible configurations than we usually realize. Segment 11. Why scientists study synesthesia to understand everyone. At first, synesthesia seems like a rare curiosity, a strange neurological puzzle. But studying unusual brains often reveals how all brains work. Think about a flashlight. When the light is on, you don't notice the electrical system inside. But if someone builds a flashlight with a different circuit, suddenly you learn how electricity travels. Synesthesia gives scientists a rare opportunity to study the hidden wiring of perception. It asks fundamental questions. How does the brain separate information? How does it combine information? How does a collection of electrical signals become a conscious experience? Because the truth is, every person has a unique internal world. Two people can look at the same sunset. The light entering their eyes may be almost identical, but the experience created inside their brains is never perfectly the same. Your memories are different. Your emotional associations are different. Your attention is different. Your brain has been shaped by a lifetime of experiences. Synesthesia simply makes this invisible process easier to see. It turns a hidden feature of perception into something people can describe. Segment 12. The biggest misconception about the human brain. Many people imagine the brain like a machine with separate compartments. A vision department, a hearing department, a taste department, each one working independently. But biology is much more connected. The brain is not a collection of isolated boxes. It is a constantly communicating network. Imagine an orchestra again. The power of the performance doesn't come from one instrument playing alone. It comes from coordination, timing, communication, interaction. Your brain creates reality through cooperation between thousands of systems working together. Synesthesia is not a broken version of perception. It is a reminder that perception itself is more flexible than we normally notice. The world you experience is not simply entering your brain. Your brain is actively creating the version of the world you experience. Segment 13. The strange lesson hidden inside a simple color. A color seems simple. You see red, you see blue, you see green. But behind every color is an enormous chain of biology. Light enters your eyes. Cells transform that light into electrical signals. Those signals travel through neural pathways. Your brain interprets patterns. Your memories influence meaning. Your emotions influence attention. And finally, a conscious experience appears. The color you see is the final result of a massive biological process happening invisibly inside you. For most people, that process ends with vision. For some people, the pathway continues. The color may carry a taste. A sound may carry a shape. A word may carry a sensation. The brain has created an additional layer of experience, not because it is malfunctioning, but because the human nervous system is far more interconnected than we once imagined. Segment 14. The reality your brain creates. Every moment of your life is a conversation between the outside world and the inside of your mind. The sights you see, the sounds you hear, the flavors you recognize. They all pass through a biological interpretation system that turns information into experience. Synesthesia reveals something profound. You are not simply observing reality. You are participating in its creation. Your brain is constantly translating, organizing, and connecting everything around you. Most people experience those connections silently. Some people experience them as colors, flavors, textures, or sounds. And that strange ability teaches us something universal. The human brain is not a simple recording device. It is a living prediction system, a biological artist, a translator that turns electrical signals into the world you know. So the next time you look at a color, remember this. You are not just seeing the world. You are experiencing the unique reality your brain builds from it.